I always tell my students this, as they come down here, you will see a lot of beautiful houses with beautiful front porches. It's also the road with the most potholes, so I didn't notice. I pulled up here. It's a beautiful little. It's another Airbnb. I wonder what it's called now. It's got bought by the start. It's called the Ash Tree.
Some Blackhawks.
Ah, you do have Blackhawks.
Those things are trying to kill you from the moment they get off the assembly line.
So this here is the Ash Tree right here. And can you hear me over the helicopters?
Yeah. Anyway.
In 1901, Dilbert Lewis lived here, and he was a traveling cutlery salesman. And he decided to build this house for him and his wife. Hi, how are you? And they could not decide on what style of home to build, so they went with them both. The bottom is a colonial revival. The top is a Queen Anne. I call this the cross-dresser of Baraboo. And he lived there until the 1920s. After the 1920s, sold to many different people, and now it is actually a retreat.
Wow.
Indeed. So you can take a little look at our clock tower here. Our clock tower was put on in 1915. And the Ringling Brothers were involved. Originally, our clock tower called for a 2-phase clock. And the Ringling Brothers are like, no, we want a 4-phase clock. So they sent a letter to Seth Thomas and said, send us 2 of your 2-phase clocks. They did it, put it together. We have a 4-phase clock with 2 bells.
Nice.
The unique thing about our clock is there's a different time on every side. So you can never keep time actually. And about 6 months ago, it got struck by lightning. So I think it was actually not working right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get the doctor out here to fix it.
Oh my God. I told my students, I'm like, hey, let's show Back to the Future and raise money. And they're like, why? We just have like, have you not seen that film?
No.
So I showed it to them, and they're like, oh, that was the slowest film we've ever watched. I'm like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're going to talk about this little window right here. And this little window here, this whole upstairs part, was Lou Ringling's wardrobe department. Lou Ringling is wife to Al Ringling. She was the one in charge of costumes. She was in charge of helping to get the stick poles in. She was really an intriguing part of the circus. And this is her room, and she put this window on as the opinion window.
Oh.
Now, in here she would put her costumes for the shows, and people would come by and either give her a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So that's how she knew she had the opinion window.
Oh, wow.
She got the idea for this opinion window from Deadwood, South Dakota.
Oh.
Nice.
And now in Deadwood, South Dakota, they put the prostitutes in them, but she brought it here and repurposed its use, and I can't quite look at it ever since then.
Yeah, a little different opinion window out there, yeah.
See all the mirror. We're going to go over there, and I'm going to talk about the right things, right ways. So in 1871, when the train came to Baraboo, this is a big moment for us. It was a watershed moment. We had 5 trains a day coming into Baraboo. And we had all these people. This was a stopping point between Chicago and Minneapolis, so everybody had to get off and stay overnight in Baraboo. Right here where it says the Wright Building, this was actually the Western Hotel. And the Western Hotel was our fanciest hotel we had here in Baraboo. It had 3 floors, you got your own chamber pot and everything.
Wow.
Our most famous person that stayed here, Mary Todd Lincoln.
Oh, nice.
Stayed here for 2 weeks and then went out to the lake and stayed for 2 weeks. And in 1878, fire came through and burned down most of Baraboo. And a woman came in, Elizabeth Wright, and she built this building.
Huh?
And she built it on the moorings of the old building. And being the smart woman that she was, she rented the downstairs to a dry good company, and she rented the upstairs to the Ringling Brothers.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
is their original offices and wardrobe departments. And when they needed all their things, they had it all downstairs to buy.
Oh,
If
nice.
you get a chance to go up there, there's an elevator right here. You can go up. My office is up there. You can walk around.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is
That is awesome. Huh.
$400,000 to build the Al Ringling Theater. It is built on a 1/3 scale model of the Palace of Versailles.
Wow.
It has 700 seats in the main floor, 102 in the box seats, and is absolutely gorgeous. The very first show that opened up here was on November 17th, 1915, Lady Luxury.
Oh, wow.
It was a comic opera. We redid it a couple of years ago. It wasn't that funny, but back then it must have been. Stayed in the family until January 1st, 1916. Al Ringling passed away. And in his will, he wanted to leave this to the city of Baraboo as a gift. And Baraboo, being Baraboo, was like, oh, we'll take it on this condition and that condition and this condition. They said, forget it. Took it back, put their nephew in charge. He ran it until the 1950s. After that, it sold into many different hands. It now is owned by the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
That's just why we're getting all these new things. So it's also going to be like an extension of the circus world. So we're waiting and excited to see what will happen.
Nice.
We've been in it before. We saw a Led Zeppelin tribute
Yeah,
band.
Kashmir. It was a couple
Kashmir.
years ago.
Yeah.
It was right after they had the frescoes redone, and they asked them to
turn down the
their,
music.
their amps because they were afraid that the vibrations were going to mess with the frescoes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Kashmir, excellent. Excellent Led Zeppelin tribute.
This building right here, the salmon colored building, Little Village, was actually home to the Baraboo News Republic. And our little paper back during the Civil War time took two people to run. Ansel Kellogg's partner went off to fight in the Civil War, and he didn't know quite how to produce a newspaper without him. So he came up with a brilliant idea. He ordered newsprint from Madison, had it sent here, printed the Baraboo News Republic on the back side, and we became the birthplace of the first syndicate newspaper. Now, I was in Toronto a couple years ago, and they said for 4 free tickets to the Phantom of the Opera, tell us the birthplace of the first syndicate newspaper. And I'm like, I called up and I'm like, it's Baraboo, Wisconsin. They're like, how did you know that? I'm like, I walk by that sign all the time.
Every day.
Oh.
Trivia that might get you something free or not. And this over here, recommended by this is the Al Ringling Mansion.
Yes. Yeah, we took a tour of it before.
So the Al Ringling Mansion was built in 1915. Might be loud, I'll lean in a little bit so you guys can hear me. 1915 by Al Ringling. And it's made out of Lake Superior sandstone. Really not great material for Wisconsin. Better other places. But the unique thing about this is Lou and Al didn't quite know what style of home to go with on the inside. So they went with them all. There's a British vestibule, a French sitting room, a Dutch billiards room, 24 karat gold ceilings, you name it all. On January 1st, 1916, Al Ringling passed away upstairs. And when he passed away, in his will, he said to his wife, you can live here, but you can't own the place.
Oh.
So she got kind of mad, moved out. His sister moved in, Ida Ringling North, lived here until the 1920s. Circus pulled out of town in the 1920s. Why? Spanish flu came through, wanted to have everybody in one kind of spot together. And it was left abandoned.
Oh.
And in 1936, there was a wrecking ball here in town to tear down the mansion. And in steps the Elks Club. And they maintained it until 2014 when Joe and Carmen bought it, and they're turning it into a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
We have not stayed there yet, but we plan on.
Okay. Are you guys warm enough back there?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Okay, good.
I mean, if it was 80, I'd be happier.
Me too.
I prefer to sweat than freeze.
I was just in Everett, Turkey, and I took a tour of that, and it was 82. I came home and my husband's like, "You're gonna need your hat." I'm like, "What?"
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
So we're coming alongside the back side of our library here. Our library in 1915, we got a grant, and we got a $15,000 grant to build our library. Now, we got this grant because Andrew Carnegie and Al Ringling were best friends. So, with that $15,000, we were able to hire an architect, Mr. Louis Claus, and he's a student of Frank Lloyd Wright. So we have a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright that went into our library. Every Carnegie library comes with a work of art. And ours is a reading room, and it's Della Rava's Dancing Boys.
Oh.
It's 12 naked dancing boys
Yikes.
in a marble frieze. And every boy in Baraboo, including mine, has embarrassed their mom at least once by going, "Do you see what's up there?" Yes, I do, honey.
Thanks for being the 10,000th kid to point it out.
Yes, it's like the librarians have heard that before. And with our librarian, we were able to get 300 books, and we hired our first librarian, Miss Kate Potter. She worked 12 hours a week, and we paid her $12 a month, kind of what teachers get paid now. And in 1981, 1982, we added on to the building. And recently, we just added on, we added on this building. So this is the original part. If you go in here, you see where the lights are up. The marble frieze is on that side. And we have the original building on the other side.
Now there, have you ever been to the White Rose Bed and Breakfast?
Yes, up in the Dells.
Yeah, and you know that one of the houses are designed by,
Lloyd.
yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Did not know that.
It's not the big Victoria in the front. It's
Yeah.
the house behind it. There's like,
Closer to the view.
yeah,
Okay, I will have to.
yeah, and they'll give you a tour if you ask.
Okay.
We took a tour and it's just gorgeous
Yeah,
inside
we
too.
tried to record it and wound up being horrible.
Yeah, I went live
we-
like I'm live now, and
Yeah,
I lost
we tried.
connection. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, there is another Frank Lloyd Wright one, the Seth Peterson Cottage. Have you seen that one at Mirror Lake?
I don't think so. No.
Now, if you can take a tour of that, and don't quote me, but it's either the second and fourth Sunday or the first and third Sundays of the month they give out tours.
Oh, we'll have to look it up.
And it's like $5.
Oh,
And they take you on a tour. And it's very interesting, the whole, how it started and how it fell into disrepair and who paid for it. And it's all very good. So starting from here, going to the end of McGann's there, this is the Henry Muller's workshop. Now, who is Henry Muller? Henry Muller is uncle to the Ringling Brothers. And he's a wagon maker, Russian wagon maker. And he's married, and he decides, when the Ringling Brothers decide to go into the circus business, they say to their uncle, "Will you make us circus wagons?" He said yes. Their father was a harness maker.
yeah.
So they had discounted harnesses and discounted wagons, which is one of the reasons they were so successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their first cousins to the Mullers are the Gulmars. And the Gulmar family, when they went into the circus business, went to their uncle and said, "Will you make us circus wagons?" And he said yes. They became the premier circus wagon maker of the world.
Oh, wow.
90 different circuses traveled here to Baraboo to make their wagons.
Wow.
Have you been to Circus World?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we went yesterday.
Did you see the Bell wagon?
I think so.
I
Yes.
think so, yeah.
Okay, and the Swan wagon. Those are his two most famous ones.
There's the tower.
And it's on time.
I have a story when I was in Italy
Oh, yes?
and our train was late. And I was tapping on my watch. I was one of the only Americans on the train station.
Yeah.
I was tapping my watch and I said, you know, if Mussolini was running this place, this train would be on time. And none of them understood me because none of them spoke English.
Okay.
But they knew who Mussolini was, and they knew what it was, what I meant by tapping my watch.
Yeah.
And they knew what happened to trainsman, the train master that was late.
Yeah.
He got shot. Yep, doggies having a good time.
That's awesome. So, in 1871, when the train came here, these two houses were the YWCA of Baraboo.
No.
So if you were a young woman coming here to stay, and you would be promptly escorted from the train station to here,
Oh,
and then taken from here back to
the train
the train
station.
station the next day.
Oh.
So coming up here, this house right here, built in 1901, was our post office and was designed by Louis Claw, the same man that in our library. When they got done finishing this, the city of Baraboo was in uproar. They held it was the ugliest building they had ever seen. So he came in and added these ugly corner pieces and the wood on the top and called it a day.
Yeah, it reminds me of buildings in Philadelphia.
Very, very much a government kind of building.
Yep.
And served as our post office until 1966. Excuse me. In 1966, my school district bought it. And it became my administration building until 2014 when they sold it. And a man bought it and has made it into a private home. I would love to get inside there.
Yeah,
neat.
that is
In
cool.
1871, I told you the train came to Baraboo. And when the train came to Baraboo, this was the main road to the train station. Can't see it now, but there used to be a bridge that went across from here. And on the other side is the train station, which is not used at this point. But if you get a chance to wander down there, you can check it out.
Probably will.
Driven down that road.
Yep.
So I talked about the Bell wagon a little bit. Now the Bell wagon is one of the most famous wagons made by Moeller. And there's a bit of a story behind it. And it involves this church right here. This American Legion place used to be a German Methodist church. This is where Salome Ringling went to church. Salome is the mom of the Ringling brothers. She was German Methodist. She was French. She was German Methodist. Dad was Catholic. So mom went to her boys and said, boys, you will buy bells for my church. So her boys bought her bells and they came to the pastor and said, here's your bells. And the pastor said, we don't have a bell tower.
Oh, yeah.
If you could pay for a bell tower, we'll accept your bells. And they're like, so our mom said bells. She didn't say anything about bell towers. And they're like, we can't possibly accept that if you're not going to build a bell tower. The boys took the bells back, gave them to their uncle, put it into a bell wagon. This church never got bells or bell tower.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it'd be nice to say thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Sugar versus salt.
This building over here is our high school at one point, 1905. It was our high school by Lewis Claude. Served as our high school until 1966 when we moved up to our present location. It is now our senior center and home to a Boys and Girls Club. And we also have the lions out front. You can see them there. Those lions were put there by the Chicago Board of Trade. They were originally in front of them, and somebody donated and brought them to Baraboo and put them in front of our civic center. And people are upset because all the kids play on them. I'm like, that's what lions are made for.
Yeah. They're made out of stone. You're not going to do anything to them.
And they're kids. What an excellent thing to play on. They're not great kids.
Exactly.
How are we doing back here? Are you warming up?
No.
I don't have any blankets under there, but I can give you my skirt. We're going to swing over here to get St. Joseph's Church, where I used to go to church. And in 1903, we gave the city of Baraboo, the church of Baraboo, $30,000, Father Gerwin, and said to build us a church, a cathedral. Being the smart man that he was, he went to Europe 3 times. Finally came back and started to build us our cathedral. And there's 2 large marble columns in this church that hold it. And we were having a very hard time raising these marble columns. Being the smart man that he was, he went down to the Ringling Brothers, brought back 8 elephants, and they raised the marble columns of our church. Now, as I said, I used to tell this story all the time here because I go to church here. Whenever my son misbehaved, which was all the time, I was like, do you need the elephant story? He's like, yeah. I love the elephant story. So I started to tell it one day. I just tapped in the back, and I'm like, I'm going to get shushed in church today. And I turned around, the old man behind me says, can you speak up? I'm like, screw the end of everything. We are back here on Ash Street again, on what was known as Bridge Street. And you're going to see some of our older homes here in town. Hello.
Hi.
I think this is the best way to see Baraboo.
I agree.
All right, where are you guys going to visit next?
I think we're going home.
Yeah, we're going back home.
Okay.
We've been here all
I have to work.
weekend.
Yeah, I have to work tonight.
Okay. So no other places for today.
No.
Well, thanks for squeezing me in then. I appreciate that.
No, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we got another couple interested in coming to do your tour.
Yep,
I
that's
appreciate that.
tomorrow maybe.
Tomorrow, if it's not raining, I'll come over. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's raining,
They're like, we can go right after you.
I know.
Like, well,
Today I scheduled I've been gone for 3 weeks. So today is my day to get back into.
Yeah, recuperation.
Well, not recuperation. I am also the sweeper president. So
Oh.
quite a few meetings.
oh,
A lot of things went wrong when I was gone.
oh no.
Well, yeah, that's normally what happens.
I'm like, seriously, the minute I got on the plane, I'm like, you guys know
Yeah, we waited to light all the fires until you left.
Yeah, absolutely. They had their matches ready. I used to teach high school, so I'm quite used to fire testing.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go over this way. So, have you been to our wonderful coffee bean right here?
We have not.
Our local coffee shop, and the unique thing about this is this site from here all the way to the end of the street was where the Grand Theater used to be. The Grand Theater was built in 1860. It was a large wooden structure that ran from here all the way to the end of the street. Sat 1,000 people and had gas lighting, which is probably why it burned down in 1890.
Yep.
My friends were doing, when they were doing restoration here to the building, they found the corner pieces right there in the front.
Wow.
And afterwards, there was no building for Baraboo to have heart, which is why Al Ringling built the Al Ringling Theater.
Oh,
so
nice.
Baraboo could gather.
Oh, nice.
Now we're coming up here to my church. I'm in the Episcopal Church. The unique thing about this church is that all the stained windows on this church come from Canterbury. And it has a unique aspect to this church. Unique aspect. Now look inside these windows, you can see that we have a walled-in area in the back area. That's our columbarium. So for $100, you can be cremated, buried into the walls of your church. I used to be Catholic, but I converted and came over because I thought that was a better deal.
So your ashes are in there, or
Well, they
in
will
the urn?
be. Yeah, they will. They'll be in an urn in the wall. So right here is Salome Ringling's home.
Oh.
Mama Ringling. So the boys decided to build their mom a home, and she had rules about this house. It couldn't be too close to her kids. You're staying at Charles's house.
Yeah.
Over there was Al. Gus' house, which I think is going for sale actually, over that way. So they built Mom's house here so she could walk to everything. There were at one time over 8 different circus families here in Baraboo, and each family was assigned colors.
Oh.
They let the Ringlings go first. They chose yellow. I thought yellow was the most prestigious color. Yellow was the cheapest color of the time.
Oh. That's funny.
So Sally lived here until 1907. She cooked her family a big Christmas dinner and then passed away.
Oh.
After her words, her daughter saw Ida Ringling North moved in here for a while, and she got the mansion and moved over there. The family who just bought this are going to turn it back to, restore it back to the original.
Oh, nice. That would be nice.
That's going to cost a couple bucks.
A little bit. It's not in bad shape, but it does have some work that needs to be done. So right up here, this building there, that was our very first doctor's office. And this was Dr. Strong. He moved to Baraboo in 1870, built this house, ran his practice up the back side of it. In 1890, Henry Ringling bought this, totally renovated it, until he bought your house.
Huh.
And when he bought your house, Henry now, he was in poor health, which is why he had the first commercialized elevator put in
Oh, yeah.
the house, and it's the first one in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
He was a big boy, and
Yeah.
lots of people in that Ringling side died of heart problems.
Oh, sure.
Well, Otto died of Bright's disease, and so did Al, which is a renal failure disease. And the rest of them died of heart attacks. Those Germans, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that my dad died of an aneurysm, abdominal. So yeah, that's how we go.
Yeah, that's my dad's German too. All right, this ends your historic rickshaw ride around Baraboo, where you got to follow in the footsteps of the Ringling Brothers and see the legacy they left behind.
Nice.
I hope you enjoyed your time here in Baraboo. We'll come back to visit us again soon.
Absolutely, we're gonna
Thank
go
you.
grab one of your bucks inside.
And if you ever want to come back and just do like a cemetery tour, let me know. I can send a rickshaw up there.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'd be cool.
that sounds
we can
good.
run around and do that. The one in Portage, let me tell you where that one is. So, do you know where the surgeon's quarters is?
No,
Okay.
we've never been to Portage.
Well, we can Google it. We can
Yep.
Google it.
So, if you Google surgeon's quarters,
Oh God!
surgeon's quarters of Portage,
Uh-huh.
then there is. I'm gonna when I stop and show you where the cemetery is. And it has 5 wars, revolutionary, civil. Yeah, I think it has 5 wars.
Huh.
And there's some of the very famous ones are there too. So if you go to to Surgeon's Quarters is here. And just go up the street to the left, the first street to the left, go around the bend, and it's like a half mile on your right hand side. It says Surgeon's Quarters, Surgeon's Quarters Cemetery.
Huh.
It's very good.
Check it out. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hope you had a good tour. Sorry it was a little cool. Who knows in Wisconsin?
I said that to my family and hers as well.
Yeah.
It's very weird. You have
My husband said that while I was gone, it was 80 degrees.
yes. It was 80 some odd degrees, and then
All right, we're in
They got all
Baraboo,
kinds of
Wisconsin.
crazy-
We had the rickshaw tour, and your name is
Shelly Mordini.
okay. And they can book it online.
And they can book it online. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
All right. It was
Thanks,
nice
Shelly.
to meet you guys.
you.
You do.